Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title of your screen, I've purchased a Crosman Legacy 1000. Had this rifle for quite some time now. I have shot it a few different times, just with open sight. Haven't put a scope or nothing on it, and I haven't tested any ammo through it. This is all new to me. All I did was take a couple of these Crosman Premiers, pointed, and was shooting puffballs out of the tree and stuff because it's been sitting in my closet for so long. I don't know. Over time, I just kind of took it out and shot, and I kept saying, I got to do a video on it, And I probably picked the worst day ever. It's super muggy out. Thank God the sun ain't out because it would just be terrible out here, but it's super muggy. I'm all sticky and everything else. But nonetheless, some of y'all that's been followers of the channel know that I purchased an 880 power line 2 years ago. And I said it was going to be the last 10-pump air rifle that I'd ever own. And unfortunately, that didn't hold up very good because it wasn't even a month later, the stills blew out of that air rifle. And I'm talking less than 100 shots, they literally blew up. So, my opinion on the 880s just from that one, and compared to what they used to be and how they used to be made, the 880s are complete garbage. I'd stay completely away from them. They just aren't made the way that they used to be. This one, however, is a little bit expensive. This gun out the door, I think I paid 88 bucks, but on Amazon and stuff, it's shown for like 110, 115 bucks, which is a ton of money for a 10-pump air rifle. I'll give you, for instance, back in the day, you used to be able to buy an 880 power line for $35. These right here, have always been a little more pricey. I think these back in the day was 60 bucks, somewhere in there. And I've even seen them at places cheaper than that, and low 20s back when I was a kid. And now these things are just skyrocketing through the roof. You're better off to go buy a PCP air rifle nowadays, because by the time you get pellets for this thing and get a decent scope on it and the whole nine, you're going to have about as much money in this as you would if you would have just purchased a PCP, which are way more accurate than these. I already know I'm not looking for that type of accuracy out of this rifle, but hopefully it's good enough to where we can headshot some squirrels. I plan on taking it out this fall and chasing a few squirrels with it, and just kind of take me back to my roots with the old 10-pump BB gun that I started with. But anyway, let's go over the rifle really quickly. I am going to be doing a close-up as I speak through this, but we'll go ahead and start with the BB loader. So as y'all can see right here, it's this little tray. You open that up, you dump your BBs into it. Once it's full, you close it. Then over here on the right side of your rifle, I guess it'd be your left side if you're a right-handed shooter, you're going to pull this little lever all the way back. This is your BB lever. You'll tip the gun upside down, such as I'm doing now, and shake it like this. It will then fill, and you will close it just by pushing it up, and you're ready. You'll shoot until all these are out, and then you'll do it again. You'll pull that back, you'll fill that little side up, and simple as that. And shoot until you can't shoot no more. Now, I will say, if you want to keep this rifle super accurate, this is a rifle barrel, and shooting a BB through the rifling will obviously turn it into a smoothbore barrel. Now, I used to do it with my 880s and all that back in the day when I was a kid. I used to shoot tens of thousands of BBs out of it a month, and also pellets at the same time. And did I lose accuracy? Not as far as I could really tell. But also back then, you'd probably hit, out of 6 birds you would shoot at, you might get one of them for every 6 or so. And some days I would get skunked. I'd miss every bird I shot at. I'd shoot at 40 some birds and miss every one of them. But this rifle personally is not going to see any BBs. I'm going to keep it strictly pellets and just try to keep the accuracy as tight as possible. So up here at the muzzle, we have a fiber optic front sight and a fully adjustable back sight. So that is very handy if you're an open sight shooter. I am going to shoot today just a few times with open sight just to kind of see the accuracy, just see if we can kind of keep it accurate, I guess, in a way. But me personally, I will be shooting a scope on this rifle. But if you are someone that loves open sight, these things are beautiful. The fiber optic green just stands out so good. And I see a squirrel right now literally behind my camera. He's way off in the woods there, but Yeah, if that thing was really close, you could probably, it's a little big. I will say it's a little big, so I guess it depends on what you're going to be using your open sight for. I'd say stick to a scope with this, but like I said, just for fun, we are going to be shooting open sight with it today. That's pretty much the main basis of the rifle. It is a 10 pump. I'm going to pump it 10 times. Some people pump them 8, some people pump them 6. The more you pump it, the more powerful it gets, but I wouldn't go over 10 because you're just asking to blow your seals out, which I've done to tons of 880 power lines. Don't know if I ever done it with one of these, but definitely 880s back in my time. I've broke a lot of them. But that's enough blubbering and talking. We're going to run 3 targets down. We're going to start one with the open sight with just some regular pellets that's not patterned yet out of the rifle. We will be starting, with it, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll shoot some Crosman Premier Ultra Dome 10.5 grain. We're going to be shooting 7.4. I got some coppers. I got a few different types of pellets, and we're just going to be running them through. We're going to do 3 targets each, and we're going to be shooting 5 times each into each target and see which one holds the tightest group. And I'll try to sight the scope in to just see how good the scope is. It's a 4x32, just a complete garbage scope, but we're going to head and try it out anyway. And then we'll rip the scope off and try open sight again with a whatever pellet tight, held the tightest group. We'll try to open sight it and see how the open sights perform. Open sights mostly are just error, human error. It just depends on how good you are with open sights. I'm decent. But with that being said, we're gonna go down. I'm gonna go ahead and put some targets together, get y'all on GoPro down target, and I'll get back at y'all when I'm ready. Alrighty, y'all. So we got the rifle pumped up. I am gonna be trying these 10.5 Ultra Mag domed pellets with open sight. Now, for those of you that may be viewing it to see the very first pattern that it throws, don't pay attention. Stick around to the end of the video and then you will see the honest results of the rifle, because each one of these pellets, I can guarantee you, is not going to perform the same. They're all going to perform different. What I'm doing here is just going to shoot these open sight to just kind of give you a more detail and my thoughts on the open sight per se at the end of the video. This is just me shooting and kind of getting a feel of it, because like I said, shot it a few times, I think 7 times total, and set it back in the closet. So I really haven't learned these open sights. But anyway, we are right at 21 yards. Or no, I lied, 19, it's 19 yards. So 21 to behind me and 19 at the muzzle of my rifle. So we're gonna go ahead and call it 20 yards. Here we go. Now I will say one thing about this rifle. It has a heavy trigger. I mean heavy, especially compared to my PCP, but I'm not going to compare them. Kind of looks like my camera's getting a little bit fogged up. I'm gonna have to clean that. Like I said, it's super muggy out today. It's terribly muggy. But I'm gonna say this is a 4th or 5th shot. I got so much going on, I really can't concentrate on shot count right now. But I'm gonna shoot this one and one more just in case if it's not, and this is the 4th shot. So let's try. Alright, here comes number 5. Or could potentially be number 5. This might be number 6. 1, 2. Alright, that's it for them. Let me clean y'all off real quickly. Alright, so I'm not going to be switching the targets out or anything. We're just going to move over to the left. We're gonna go ahead and slap the scope on, and now we're gonna go ahead and start our group shots. Like I said, 5 shots per target, and whatever one shoots the tightest grouping, we'll go ahead and try to sight this scope in for that tightest grouping, just see how close we can get to the bullseye with the tight group. And I lied, this scope is a 4x15, so my apologies. I do have a 4x32 that's about like this, and that's the reason why I kind of thought that these were the same. This one's actually a little bit smaller. So the mounts and everything on this scope is completely plastic. But all I have to do is buy some dovetail rails, and I can slap any scope upstairs on here, and I'd put a 3x9x40 on it if it does perform good. If it doesn't, I ain't doing nothing to the rifle. It'll probably go back in my closet and whatever else. But alrighty, y'all. First up is the Crosman Ultra Domed Magnum 10.5 grain. That's going to be the target right in the center of both the white pieces of paper. I'll point an arrow to it so y'all won't be too confused, and here we go. This scope is tiny, obviously, but I mean extra tiny. Alright, there's 5 shots with the Ultra Domed. Now we're going to move on over to the Crosman Pointed. This is what I was target practicing with, and it seemed to be deadly accurate with these things, so we'll give them a shot. I can kind of see the bullet holes from here. I really can't tell with this baby scope, but I think that's kill worthy of a squirrel, at least from up here. We'll definitely know from when I get down there. And we have the final one with the Crosman Pointed. Then we're going to go down and put our last 2 pellets up. At the end of the video, I'll go ahead and show you all a comparison to all targets. And like I said, we'll figure out what one's the tightest grouping pellet. And I'll honestly probably take the scope off depending on how good it is. And we'll just do a little open sight, and then I'll probably end up putting a good scope on it, coming back out here in the next few months and sighting it in. But that all depends on how good the pellet groupings are. If they're terrible, like I said, I won't waste my time. Alrighty, y'all. We have the last little bit of targets put up. We're going to be starting with these Daisy 177s. I do not know a weight grain. They're kind of an old pellet, so they don't tell me a weight grain on them. They seem to be a little heavy. I'm going to guess about 8 grains, maybe even 7, somewhere in there. Definitely a little heavy, not too crazy though. They are pointed, kind of like the Crosman Pointed. They're made about the same. Alrighty, y'all. We're going to be shooting the target in the center. See how we do. Phew! Alright, this thing's wearing me out. But that's it for the daisies. Set them aside. Now we're going to move to the copper. I also don't know weight grain for these ones. These ones are older than any of these pellets on this table, but I do have thousands of these, like literal thousands, so hopefully they shoot good out of this rifle. About, what is that, 5, 10, 50, about 40 altogether, about 100 shots in, and no, it still don't get any easier to pump. This thing will wear you out, I'm telling you right now. Alrighty, that should be it for the copperhead, and the last pellets we have is a Crosman Destroyer. They used to be called Destroyer EX, and still to this day I want to call them Destroyer EX. For some reason I took the EX out and just made them Destroyers, but that's what we're going to be shooting. Now 95% of y'all is going to be in the comments, if you haven't already, and wondering where's the hollow points, the most common one of them all. I went to Walmart the other day to purchase some, and they wanted an arm and a leg, literally. They wanted almost $9 for 500 of them for 177 caliber. And I'm cool on that. I know places that literally got them same amount for $3.95. So I'll just wait until I go to the other store and I'll buy them from there, because I ain't paying no $10 for 500 rounds of 177. When they're literally $3.95 is what they used to be, but for some reason Walmart wants to jack their price. 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, y'all, here comes the final shot. just kind of let this one run and give you an idea how long it takes. So loading part, I'm out of practice on. I haven't did this in probably, well, 2 years ago, but did it for at least 8. 2. Oh man, my arm is done. I mean done. Scope seems to be still intact. If anyone's wondering, it hasn't fallen apart yet, but it is very difficult to see out, little, I will tell you. But here we go, the final shot. We're gonna go right for the center like usual. Here we go. There it is. I'm going to go down, jerk these targets, and move that stake and all that, and put everything in the house, and then I'll do a side-by-side comparison on the targets, and we'll see which one outperformed all the others, and see if it's worth putting a little money into. Just from kind of glancing at the targets, I'm iffy. I'm ready to get into detail on it. So with that being said, I'll catch you all in the house. Alrighty, y'all. We have the results. We have the copperhead, don't know what grain. Make it a little easier for y'all to see maybe. Hopefully that's a little better look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aiming here every single time, terrible. Won't even go over that pattern at all. That was just the worst of them all. Daisy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Seem to be one flyer and aiming in the center. We'll set that one aside. Crosman Destroyer, 7.4 grain. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And maybe I shot 4 or 2 of them hit the same hole. This one's iffy. That's a kind of a decent group, honestly. They seem to be right in here. So we'll go ahead and set that one aside too. Now we have Crosman pointed, 7.4 grain. And if you look, we have 1, 2, 3. All of them's touching, and then we have 1 and 1 flyer. So all in all, a really good group, especially with the janky scope that I had on it. And then we have 10.5 Ultra Dome mag. Now this is when it gets even better. I gotta move it to where I can see better here, y'all. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 touching, 2 here, dang near touching, and 1 here. That's about the same size as that circle. If I was to move that circle right to here, it would pretty well cover that whole entire circle. So far, these are the winners. And if we take our open sight group, which was also with the Crosman Dome Ultra Magnums, and we take a look at it, we put every single pellet, this was a staple, we put every pellet in the center of this, in the same exact spot, all but 1 pellet, which was hit right here. Which honestly I think was me because I was moving the sights differently. So, out of every pellet we test fired, hands down, Crosman Dome is #1. Now I know what you're saying, like how is this so good and this is a little bit open. I'm going to blame it on the scope because the scope is so junk that it just can't hold a grouping at all. So we're going to be biased with every pellet that we've shot out of this rifle using that scope. Because to be fair, we did use the dome with ultra or open sights, and that was the results we got. And when we put a scope on it, we got results like this. So that just goes to show that sometimes it is the scope, it's not the rifle, and that's what we're going to blame it on, is this. So I'm not going to say that it only performs good with, you know, 1 pellet out of all of them, because at the end of the day I don't know, but definitely I'm very happy with the Crosman Dome. So my final thoughts on the Crosman Legacy 1000. I would say if you're on a serious budget but you want a decent quality air rifle, you really can't go wrong with the Crosman Legacy 1000. If you could find an 880 that could hold a seal, you would be totally fine with it too. It actually would outperform this rifle any day of the week, I already know. Well, maybe not the way they are made now, but back in the day, yes, I wouldn't even look at this rifle. But nonetheless, this would be an all-around squirrel getter. Is there better options out there on the market? Probably. I ain't test reviewed a lot of 10 pumps. Even as a kid, I pretty much stuck to the same ones, which was mostly, like I said, 880 Powerline. And I think I have owned one or two of these. The 760 Pump Master I've also owned. I didn't care too much for it, but the trigger on it was nice. This trigger on this rifle is very heavy. You will pull and pull and pull like there ain't no tomorrow, and then finally it goes off. But after I shot it, you know, close to 100 times or whatever, now I'm starting to get to where I pretty much know right when it's going to go off. But it definitely has a super long first stage, and that second stage is even long. Don't see a way that you can adjust it, so I don't think it has a two-stage adjustable trigger. So just what you see is what you get type deal. But again, if y'all are out there looking for a 10 pump air rifle for your kids or whatever, I would recommend this one. If you're buying it to just send them out in the yard, you better have somebody with them, because this thing is powerful. They definitely, these ones still have the same amount of power as they did when I was a kid. And I can guarantee you, if a squirrel popped out in front of me and I had this in my hands, there wouldn't be no doubt in my mind I'd smoke his head. But yeah, that's pretty well it. A lot of people go over a whole bunch of nonsense with y'all. I just keep it plain and simple. That's my honest review. Like I said, the trigger I don't care for. The sights are a little big for my liking. Some people like that. It's easier for them to see. Just depends on who you are. Scope, complete garbage. Throw it over the hill. But, you know, and most of the time I would, but I just wanted to leave it on there for an experiment to show you all the difference between open sights and just how janky that scope is. Now, if I was to go upstairs, throw a 3x9x40 on this with some Dome Ultra Mags and set it out there, I could probably stack hole for hole with this air rifle. And I won't say this will be the last time y'all will be seeing this one, because I plan on taking this one on a squirrel hunt. But with that, this has been your host Trey with Hunt Fish Haul Outdoors. I also run a gaming channel, Hunt Fish Haul Outdoors Gaming. I think we're coming up on 530 subscribers, and it's just going crazy over there. So if y'all's into gaming videos, go check it out. A new one goes live tonight, but you all won't be seeing this one until a day later. But just go over there and check out the most recent gaming video. I did some turkey hunting. And anyone wondering, I have been turkey hunting in real life. I called a bird in last Thursday, had him at like 40 yards, me and my woman. And we could never get eyes on him. He just stayed right over the lip of the crest, and I think I called to him just a little too much, because he just stayed there gobbling, and eventually he left. I believe if I would have just went silent on him for a while, he'd eventually popped up over the hill and give us a shot. But it was just excitement, because this year is pretty much like my 2020 season. Just birds gobble a little bit, hit the ground, and they get silent. I think it was 2020. A couple years ago I had the same deal. Just birds just wasn't acting right for me. Everyone else around me, knocking the hell out of them. But me personally, I was having a rough time on turkeys. So looks like it's gonna be another one of them years for me when it comes to turkeys. But hey, we still got fish in the river, and they've been absolutely slamming. My brother and them tore them up last night. So I'll be heading to the river at some point, and even some lakes, trying to catch some spawning bass. And I'll be bringing the GoPro along with me. If y'all's new here, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share us with your friends. And like I said, if y'all are looking for a 10 pump air rifle, you really can't go wrong with this old Legacy 1000, especially with how they're made today. The majority of the what used to be good ones, I'd just say stick to one of these. But with that all being said, I'll see you all on another episode of Hunt Fish Haul Outdoors. It's been your host Trey. Comment down below if y'all have any questions or anything. I'll gladly go down there and answer them. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully y'all enjoyed today's review on the good old Crosman Legacy 1000.